right, welcome back to the Patriot Hour for Saturday morning, August 10th of 2019. All right, we all wake up this Saturday morning to Epstein, no longer alive, I guess. This is the official narrative, folks, coming down. Billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein of 66 years old kills himself in a Manhattan jail. 24 hours, less than 24 hours after the unsealed documents pertaining to another case were unsealed yesterday. He's been on suicide watch for about 2 weeks ahead of his sex trafficking trial that he's pleaded not guilty to, by the way. All right, so a couple things that we know here, folks. I mean, all right, so federal prison. He's sitting in a federal. Years ago in the service, had a guy aboard the USS George Washington. We'll go by the name that we called him after all this, but we called him Psycho Sid. Kid had kind of one wonky eye, would look off when he'd look at you. I mean, anyway, he ended up doing something petty and ended up going to the brig for 25 days. Got awarded 30, but for €5, he's going to get 5 days good behavior in the federal for a 30 calendar day, 5 days off. He serves 25. There were some other guys that were there that told the story of when they were all getting through the intake process. Are any of you suicidal? Do any of you feel like harming yourself? And this psycho Sid takes a step forward, raises his hand, whatever, and says, yeah, me. And the story goes, they came and grabbed him up pretty quick. And the next thing you know, they said while they're all getting intook, these group of individuals doing whatever crimes and amount of time, there was a couple guys that went down for something all kind of petty, and they all got like 30 days, which equaled 25, and they were with them, and they hear him screaming for the next several hours, I was just wanting special attention, and that's what they're hearing. Well, days later, he gets released into the general pop with them. They said his hair's all wild, and he said they took his shoelaces, they took his belt, he didn't have a sheet. They put him in a jacket. They put him in a little straight jacket to where you can't do anything, and you're in a padded room. So I beg to understand this Jeffrey Epstein. When he tried to do this a week ago, we all know he had wounds around his neck. He was found unconscious in a cell, and then he gets placed on suicide watch. That's 24-hour monitoring, folks. There's going to be cameras, and there's supposed to be a guard. When one guard after 8 hours isn't watching him anymore, if it's a 12-hour shift, 8-hour shift, 10-hour shift, I don't know. But you're going to have the other guy take over. I can't believe that, I went to go smoke a cigarette, and when I come back, lo and behold, he's dead. What did he hang himself with? I want to see the tapes on this. So not to get into anything conspiracy here, but we just want to, we want to know that you got no belts, no laces, no sheets. How did he hang himself? Is that what's coming out? How did he suicide himself if it wasn't by, hanging? But I think that's already the official narrative here. Unbelievable. Now, my mind's already thinking he got wheeled out. They made sure that was, wheeled out in a gurney, wasn't really covered, was seen, I guess. Was this a prop up? Was he getting rescued by the deep state? Or is he going into like witness protection? It was just no matter what, he was a threat to get killed. They needed him for something. This guy knows a lot. I mean, is there things that we don't know? We need him to testify. I'm just saying, is it one way? Was a deep state swooped in, made it look like he died? Or was it the actual feds themselves, a good group of people that wanted to protect him so he can actually testify here in a few weeks? Or is it some kind of witness protection? Okay, we can only theorize at this point. So there's a couple different ways. I mean, either this went down the way it was said, the official narrative, or it's one of these other narratives that we're tossing around here. A deep state rescue, an actual honest justice system rescue. Jeffrey Epstein has hanged himself inside the New York cell. How? He is discovered by prison guards in cardiac arrest on Saturday morning and was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Epstein was arrested on July 6 of charges of conspiracy and sex trafficking and was being held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center without bail. He was reportedly placed on suicide watch following after a suicide attempt on July 24th. Epstein's death comes just 24 hours after documents detailing his sexual abuse of underage girls was unsealed by the courts. The explosive documents included claims Epstein alleged sex slave that she was acquired to have intercourse with a number of powerful men. So Jeffrey Epstein has hanged himself inside his New York jail cell. The billionaire pedophile was found in cardiac arrest shortly before 7 a.m. on Saturday at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan. The 66-year-old was rushed to nearby New York Downtown Hospital where he was pronounced dead. In a statement, a spokesperson for the chief medical examiner confirmed that they had custody of Epstein's body and had commenced an investigation into the exact cause and manner of his death. Epstein was awaiting trial on charges of conspiracy and sex trafficking and was being held at the high-security complex without any bail. The financier, who once boasted high-profile friends, including Prince Andrew and President Bill Clinton, was arrested on July 6, accused of arranging to have sex with dozens of underage girls at his residence in New York City and Florida between the years of 2002 and 2005. He have, of course, pleaded not guilty to any of these charges. The shocking news of Epstein's death comes just 2 weeks after he was hospitalized following a first suicide attempt inside his prison cell. On July 24th, Epstein was rushed to the hospital under police guard after he was discovered semi-conscious on the floor of his prison cell in the fetal position. So how do you go from hanging yourself to not being hung and being laying on the floor in the fetal position? Did his makeshift thing break and he fell down and now he's just unconscious? All seems kind of odd. So Epstein was said to be on suicide watch, although the New York Times reports that it is unclear whether additional measures had been put in place to ensure he did not try to take his own life for a second time. Well, if you're on suicide watch, and I guess we don't really know if he was, that's what's being reported, I just don't see how it could have happened. Meanwhile, the billionaire's death comes just 24 hours after the unsealed more than 2,000 pages of documents detailing the lurid allegations of his sexual abuse of underage girls. All right. On Friday morning, yesterday, a federal appeals court made public explosive documents pertaining to a 2015 lawsuit that Virginia Roberts Gurfey had filed against Epstein's associates, socialite Ghislaine Maxwell. Giffer claimed Gurfey claimed Epstein and Maxwell kept her as a sex slave in the early 2000s whilst she was underage. So there's a huge bombshell right there. And then it goes into names and just more to come here. The unsealed papers, which made international news on Friday, implicated a high number of profile men, including, Prince Andrew, a couple of former Senator George Mitchell, Democrat, former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. So the prince has always denied any wrongdoing, and in a 2015 court application, a judge threw out Roberts' allegations that she had sex with Prince Andrew and ordered him to be struck from the record as being immaterial and impertinent. Buckingham Palace also issued on the record statements in January 2015 stating any suggestions of impropriety with an underage minor is categorically untrue. So Epstein is known for his previous friendships with President Trump, but Gurfey has denied ever having sexual relations with Commander-in-Chief and said that she never even seen Bill Clinton there. But, this person wasn't there all the time. This person's going through their stories of when they were there and what they saw. It would take another person to have seen some of these other people. Epstein was facing up to 45 years. Prosecutors claim he sexually exploited dozens of underage teenagers, some as young as 14, at his home in Manhattan and in Palm Beach. Again, between the years of 2002 and 2005. I'm sure this went on a lot longer. Here's a timeline. 99, Virginia Roberts says she became Epstein's sex slave at 17. Also claimed that he forced her to have sex with his friends, Prince Andrew, and a second son of Queen Elizabeth. 2002, Trump tells New York Magazine that his friend Epstein likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Now, that context is a little out of quote. He said he seems to have liked some a little young, but younger side. 2005, excuse me, a 14-year-old tells police that Epstein molested her in Palm Beach in Florida at his mansion. 06, Epstein and 2 associates are charged with multiple counts of unlawful sex acts with a minor. State attorney of the time, Barry Krischer, referred the case to a grand jury who heard from just 2 of the 12 girls law enforcement had gathered as potential witnesses. They returned just 1 single count of soliciting. 2006, the case is referred to the FBI. Florida Palm Beach, police who were unhappy with how the case was handled. 07, Epstein's lawyer met with Miami top federal prosecutor Alexander Acosta, who would later become the Secretary of Labor in Trump administration. They secretly negotiate the deal of a lifetime. June of 2008, after pleading guilty to 2 prostitution charges, the billionaire was sentenced to 18 months in a very low security, where he actually was able to leave 6 days out of the week, and he just had to come there to stay the night. On like all day Sunday, and then, stay the night every night, I believe. He had it really good. 08, accusers learned of the deal. 09, Epstein is released from jail after 5 months, or for 5 months early than expected. July of 18, the Miami Herald publishes an investigative journalist Julie K. Brown's expose on Epstein's long history of alleged sex abuse and news of the deal of a lifetime after Acosta was made labor secretary. February of 19, the Justice Department opens up an internal review into Epstein's plea deal. July 7th and 19, Epstein is arrested after his private jet lands at New Jersey's. So it almost looks like, possibly the Trump campaign allowed this guy to come on. It would create outcry from somebody, and it seems like all of us are doing the work. We got Judicial Watch pulling paperwork, FOIA requests, after tons of these other things going on around the country, folks, like with the FISA-gate and all that. You got Mike Cernovich did some of this here. This is what it's taken. February of 19, the Justice Department opens up an internal review into Epstein's deal. July of 7th and 19, Epstein is arrested as his jet comes back into New Jersey's airport when his jet was coming back from like Italy or something. July 8th, Epstein is charged with sex trafficking and all the great stuff that we heard about for him to go down, and he's looking at 45 years in prison. July 11th, more than a dozen women not previously even known to law enforcement come forward to accuse him of more sex abuse. July 24th, Epstein was found unconscious in the cell after an apparent suicide attempt, and he was moved to suicide watch. Why wouldn't you be? This is a federal correctional facility. And then on August 9th, more than 2,000 documents were unsealed. Reported on that. Watch that video. In the description box of that video, I'll give you a link to these. And then today, August 10th, Epstein is found dead in his cell. There is the official narrative. You can't get more official narrative than that. Now, I believe it stinks. I'm sure a lot of you do as well. Why? Why does it stink? Well, if you get put, like I said, if you get put on suicide watch, you were literally in a padded room. If not a padded, lots of precautions are taken, folks. So maybe the tape can get released to shut us all up. Just like anything else. If there's nothing to hide, release it. We saw the planes hit the first 2 towers. You guys have no issue with that. Every news channel and their brother was playing that 24/7 on replay. But we can't see the Pentagon get hit. Give us 3 lousy frames. Release the tapes and people shut up. If you don't, then you got something to hide. This is a common thread going on for years and years and years. No shoestrings, no sheets, possibly straitjacket type material should have been. I mean, this is I've heard the stories, I've seen the movies, I've read the books, and I've heard eyewitness testimony. I have no reason to doubt people. So why was it different for the billionaire Jeffrey Epstein? You know, and you actually caught him. It's not just the guy that said, I think I might commit suicide. And then you go through, I mean, he already tried. So therefore you'd think you'd enforce the extreme level. If you have some kind of book there at the federal pen, you're going to go to that. It's like, standard procedure 1 for somebody that has been caught trying to kill themselves. Here's what we do. So we're going to look into all that. We're going to, again, report as this comes out, keep our eyes open and our ears, and we'll report on all of this as it comes out, day by day, hour by hour, whatever. All right, I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. You guys have a great Saturday morning and your afternoon, and we'll see you back here later on the next update video. If you're new, make sure you're subscribed. Ring the bell. Take a look in the description box. All the links are down below. We appreciate all the donations that have come in, and the links for the articles will always be down below. We appreciate it all, folks. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you back here real soon. Again, have a great afternoon.